It's been a while, or it hasn't been very long if you're watching all the videos consecutively, but we're back to Red Rope in the House of Pestilence. This is going to be a pain in the butt, but let's get ready for it. This is a blink and you'll miss it moment. We are going to step on the switch there, which raises platforms throughout the stage, which also raises the frog beast in the water. We got lucky that he ended up being on one of the platforms, but what we're going to have to do is wait till he is on one of those spots to raise him up and kill him. Now, the central theme of the House of Pestilence is that blue purplish goo stuff. You can actually go in it and it won't kill you, but it will reverse your controls. Up is down, left is right, and fun is bad. It takes some getting used to, and as you'll notice as we walk in it, we kind of look like we're having epileptic fits, and that's because we don't know how to control our characters. It's going to be a bit more painful in later stages, but you can use this stage to get a grasp on how to move. We're in our first real room, and we got the return of the cotton balls. Go ahead and kill those right in that lower area, but you can go any way you want around this stage. You're basically going to make a giant clockwise or counterclockwise pattern to kill everything. There is a new enemy, and that's the mummy here. I think these mummies are actually easier to kill than some of the other enemies because they will home in on you from across the stage. So what's nice about that is you can bait them all the way onto the dry land rather than the reversed goop stuff. For player 2 and I, you won't see us die too many times as we complete this house, and that's largely because Elgato screwed up the first recording, and this is our second recording of doing it. For you, expect to die a lot. Whereas in the first few houses, you could gain a few lives if you knew how to move, and in the intermediate houses, you could possibly stay even, expect to lose 15, 20 or more lives while completing these final houses. As for this room in particular, the hardest enemies is the zombie in the middle and the two mummies and the backwards goop stuff. Unlike in the other houses, you're not going to really worry about having your rope too long because there's nothing to really burn it. As such, if you're able to survive with a long rope, it's going to be easier to kill these mummies because one of you can stay on dry land while the other person goes in the goop. That makes it so only one person's reversed, obviously. If that is not the case, wait until the mummy's a little bit closer to the middle, both of you jump on in, get a little used to the controls, and then go after him. Once you've killed those people, then go to your right. You got a bunch of mummies in this room in addition to one zombie. And what you'll really notice in this room is how those mummies will home in on you, making it so that you can stay in one spot and allow them to walk to you. You see player 2 and I go up and kill that zombie from the start just because he sometimes is the most difficult enemy and he's nice to get out of the way. After that, however, cross the canals of the goop and get on that dry land, and if you're on those upper raised platforms, the mummies still will go after you, which can be great. There are a few skeletons scattered about the room, but ultimately you're going to be going to your right once you kill them all. As for the green switches, you don't actually need to hit them. Each one will raise a platform to the right of the stage, allowing you to access the upper right exit. However, that exit's only important because it allows you to kill a single skeleton. And you're going to need to hit that bottom left switch to actually get it, which requires you to backtrack throughout the whole house. Hit it if you want, it's not going to be a deal breaker. Some things to watch out for is these mummies suck because they managed to get the rope somehow unharmed. Like right here, he pulled a Houdini on me, scared the crap out of me, and made it so I couldn't kill him again. Stupid ass glitched mummy. Okay, we got a crap ton of cotton balls, but these cotton balls will not be unleashed until you get both switches on the upper and bottom portions of the stage. Instead, what you got to worry about are those mummies. As always, you get a little bit near them, they'll chase after you, and then you kill them. Kind of like catfishing, but a lot more lethal. For this stage in particular, once you do hit those two switches and go into the goop, I recommend you turn your controller upside down. You'll be playing with your right thumb when you do this, however, you're going to be moving them normally. The controls aren't reversed because your controller's upside down. I'll be recommending this playstyle in future rooms as well. You could call this cheating, and I call it cheating, but I also recommend it. If you want the practice and you want to keep your integrity, go ahead and do it the normal way, but if you die, it doesn't matter whether you had honor or not, you're dead. Once you do kill everything, go ahead to the bottom right exit. In this room, you have a long path through the goop, so again, I recommend you turn your controller upside down when you're in it to make it a bit easier. Otherwise, if your rope is long enough, have one person stay on dry land while the other's in the goop and can maneuver around the zombies. Once you work your way into the middle, hitting one of the switches won't do anything. You need both to lower the 3 middle platforms and give you access to that banshee. So after hitting that first switch, you're going to have to jump down into the goop and kill that zombie. It's a bit difficult, and as you see, I will die doing it, but give it enough times and you'll eventually get it. Hit that other green button, kill the banshee, kill the skeletons. You can kill the extra skeleton on the raised platform at the bottom if you have a rope long enough, and go after that final mummy. We can't get the golden key kid right now. We're going to have to backtrack. And to our right, you see a door that is locked. That room will not open until we have 3 golden keys, and that will give us access to one of the big bosses, our first in this playthrough. Once you do have everything finished, go to your bottom right. Okay, this room looks a lot scarier than it is. We have a bunch of rotating spike platforms in the goop, and you're going to have to position yourself in that bottom right corner right at the entrance. As with the 2 previous rooms, you can put your controller upside down if you'd like and work your way up to the top of the stage. Once you're there, you're going to have to get on top of the spiky platforms and kill the 3 enemies in the middle. I recommend that you get off the spiky platforms in the larger spaces to the left or right and kill one of those mummies. Again, use liberal baiting to make sure that they come to you and you don't come to them, because that choke point in the middle is pretty difficult to navigate. Once you kill them all, go and position yourself on the left switch. You're going to have to hit that switch, which is time released, get on one of the moving platforms, and move to the bottom middle right where that platform was raised by the switch. That'll give you access to that yellow switch which you can hit, which will raise the platform on the left and right, allowing you to get to all 3 exits on the left. To time this just right, focus on the platform that you want to get on. When that platform passes over that yellow button, that's your cue to move across the dumbbell that you're on and move across the platform without staying on it, onto the raised platform and then to the yellow button. You're going to have to run the gauntlet again to get to the left side as well. So again, be patient or you'll have to do everything once more. For now, it does not matter if you exit to the top left or top bottom. So choose either one you want. Killing the zombies in the middle is going to be the easy part. The hard part's going to be the 2 frog monsters that are lurking in the goop. In order to kill them, you're going to have to bait them onto the right or left bridge that raises on its own. The bridge's cycle is about 5 seconds. It's going to stay submerged for 3 seconds and above ground for 2. It helps to wait in that space for a little while to figure out the timing just right. Once you have that down, you're going to poke your head out of that corridor to bait the frog and have it come onto that bridge just in time for it to raise so you can squish it. Ultimately, the most difficult part of this is not the timing, but trying to get your head around the controls. Because that bridge is going up and down into the goop, your controls are being reversed and fixed quickly. You'll likely die quite a few times, but you'll get it. Once you kill the frog on the right, go ahead and kill the 2 zombies in the middle before you try tackling the frog on the left. You'll notice that that's where the golden key kid is hiding as well. Don't chase after him until all the enemies are killed. When you have killed all the enemies, chasing after that golden key kid's going to be a pain in the arse. Try to keep him on dry land as best as possible, because once he goes in the goop, it's going to be a headache. Once you've killed everything, you're going to exit back out to the bottom right. You'll enter back into this room from the top right so that you can access that golden button. Let's fast forward to that. Now that we're here, we're going to hit the button to lower the platform right there. You see that there's also a raised platform, but we're going to ignore that because all it does is serve as an obstacle to us. We're going to have to move around the stage and rush to that lowered platform to get on top of it before it's raised again. It may take some practicing, so if you fail, Just back out the bottom right exit and come back in the top right exit, and you can start over. Believe it or not, we have another huge room of mummies, zombies, and goop. The only thing new that we really have in here are the green switches, and each of those raises a platform to the right, allowing us to get the golden key kit. From where we entered, we're going to be able to hit 2 of those green switches, and we're going to have to backtrack to hit that third, because we do need all of them to access the right door. The room itself is pretty standard if you've completed the other rooms so far. You do have a tighter space to maneuver, so I recommend, if you have a long enough rope, that one of you stays on dry land and the other goes into the goop. Killing the zombies on the right side will be a little bit more difficult just because they lunge at you more quickly, but if you have their patterns down, you should be able to wrap around them pretty easily. As for the mummies on the left, go ahead and get that green switch and drop down into that middle section with the 2 mummies. From there, you can bait the top mummy onto solid ground, or if you're feeling adventurous, go ahead and kill in the goop. And for the lower one, you'll have to kill in the goop. If you want to skip completing all the rooms, go ahead and exit to your top left. Otherwise, go to your left, and we're going to go down after that. We have our final room in the house and a crap ton of mummies, along with some cotton balls. At this point, you're probably an expert at killing these mummies, so they're not that big of a concern. Rather, just watch out for the automatic platforms so that they don't move up and trap you when you're running away from an enemy. Hitting those green buttons will cause 2 platforms on the left and right side of the room to raise and lower, which ultimately give you access to the right exit. We are not going to need to go that way, so don't worry about it. When you're done with the room, you're going to go back up and back to the room with the 3 green switches. Go ahead and follow along our movements so that you can get back to that room and access the green switch. Now that you've hit that final green button, go ahead and kill the 2 skeletons and exit to the right. You can easily kill the Golden Key Kid now, and you're going to make your way to that right exit to finally fight the boss. It's our favorite malpractice practitioner, the Plague Doctor. Unlike the previous mini-bosses we have fought, the Plague Doctor and other bosses like him take 3 shots to kill. You also won't be killing him by wrapping your rope around him. Rather, he's going to shoot out skulls that you have to reflect back at him. Just like with the mini-bosses, we're going to show you once where we die and once where we succeed. When you enter the room or after you die, I recommend that you go into the bottom left corner and prepare yourself to reflect the first skull. His first attack every time will only be 1 skull. Once you reflect that first skull, make your way into the centermost platforms. You can go to either the left or right one based on where the Plague Doctor is. If he's in the upper or lower left positions, you go on the left middle platform. If he's in the upper right or lower positions, you go on the right platform. There's no point to getting any closer to him because he will disappear and teleport someplace else. We've talked about positioning, so let's talk about actually killing him. For this level, you do not want a long rope. You want it to be as short as can be. Position yourselves together so that he can only shoot the skeletons at your one target. Once that skull's going after you, you two will need to split apart so that the skull hits your middle rope. And then you'll both move towards the Plague Doctor in order to ricochet it at the right angle back towards him. It'll take a lot of practice and it will be frustrating because his hitbox is wonky. Do note that a black skull will kill you on contact. A white skull won't. Each skull will ricochet twice before crumbling apart on the 3rd hit. The number of skulls he throws at you isn't a pattern. He'll first send out 1 and then he'll send out 5. When he sends 5 at you, you only want to focus on that middle skull to send back. You can catch the others, but that's unnecessary busy work. Once he has been hit 2 times, he'll shoot 1 skull at you and then shoot 8. There's a lot of mayhem and it'll be very difficult to dodge, so try to kill him with that first skull. One more thing to watch out for is unfortunately a pretty major glitch. Sometimes if a skull is going too quickly at you, it'll pass right through your rope and not register as a white skull. It's pretty frustrating when it happens, but you gotta grin and bear it. Once you do kill him, rejoice, you'll be awarded a long rope that doesn't matter really, and then you'll exit to your right. You've earned yourself one of the celestial keys. Congratulations. Notice there's a lot of fire there, so shorten your rope immediately if you need to. And once you do that, you're in this inner sanctum. Go explore it and have fun. Until next time, well, bye.